I had one lady from Victoria message me and she said, I love herbs, I can't be with my mum. Could you just, every herb you grow, can you just send them all to her?
How goes that one? No, you need to find your own.
Freshly picked strawberries with a side of homemade ice cream sundaes.
This is our 14th season growing strawberries. So 14 years, originally just starting off small with the strawberries. We started growing passion fruit about 10 years ago, and we started a macadamia nursery about 3 years ago. The whole agri-tourism offering, probably in our third year.
It's proven a winning recipe for this Bundaberg farm.
On our busy weekends, I would have no less than 250 cars a day down the driveway, and I work that out at a car every 2 minutes, which means that a one-way driveway is woefully inadequate, actually. So we're working on that.
This picturesque property is called Tina Berries. Owner Bruce McPherson came up with the catchy name for his wife, Tina, and it caught on quickly.
Now, of course, she's known around town as Mrs. Tina Berry, and I'm Mr. Tina Berry.
Yeah, I found a big one.
Tina berries just seems to flow, and I suggested bruiseberries, but you wouldn't buy one of those, would you?
What people will buy, though, is strawberry ice cream, and plenty of it.
Afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Could I have 4 strawberry sundaes?
Bruce and Tina had had an ice cream machine in storage on their place for years, but only pulled it out for their kids' birthday parties. Then 3 years ago, they went looking for salvation during an extremely difficult season.
Just with a lot of waste product, and sales were through the floor with a glut, and we just pulled it out one day out of desperation. We needed a bit more cash, and we set it up just on the counter where we sell strawberries, and all our regulars would come in and give them an ice cream, and they said, you want to flog that out.
Isn't that beautiful?
Like most new ventures, though, it had to start small.
We started with a couple of seats just in front of the shed so people would come and buy their strawberries and sit and have an ice cream. And it was popular enough that we then started serving ice creams on Sundays through the summer. So I used to call it Ice Cream Sundays, and we opened from 11 till 3. And that was pretty busy.
The following year, they had enough visitors to warrant opening all weekend, all summer. Since then, it's just kept on growing.
We've got to the point where now, 3 years in, we will open from Wednesday to Sunday right through summer and autumn, so spring, summer and autumn, selling ice cream. People are coming to the farm now for ice cream, not necessarily for strawberries. The ice cream stomach will never be full. So
this isn't the only Bundy farm that's found success recently through a side hustle.
We grow 12 herbs all up. We bunch every single day except Sunday. We have Sunday off for family time.
But earlier this year, the closure of fresh food markets at the outset of the COVID-19 pandemic sent this herb farm into a spin.
We got a bit of a scare at the start of the season, so with everything being the way it was, we only planted half, roughly, of what we would normally plant.
It was enough to keep the husband and wife team busy, but the uncertain times certainly caused a few worries.
In our field of work, we have a big high where you sell a lot of herbs, and then at the end of the season, it shuts right down, but our bills and expenses don't change.
So it was serendipitous that just prior to Mother's Day, an unusual request set Amanda and the Giles Herb Farm down a whole new path.
I had one lady from Victoria message me and she said, I love herbs, I can't be with my mum. Could you just, every herb you grow, can you just send them all to her? And I'm like, oh, I've never done that before, but I'll give it a go. So I got 4 or 5 pieces of paper and just started rolling them, and it ended up looking beautiful. So I put a bow around it and I sent the lady a photo, and she just loved it.
And as it turns out, so did plenty of other potential customers.
A lot of people from Hervey Bay and Brisbane drive up to see us, which just blows my mind, because we know that there's a lot of other farms around, and Brisbane has a huge farmers market down there, but they want to come and meet us and see what we've created, which is just, it feels amazing.
Initially, Chris wasn't entirely convinced by the herb bouquets.
I wasn't overly interested because the workload is already pretty busy, so I thought it's going to be a pain. But when I'd seen how popular it become, I was on board with it 100%.
What it's meant for the Giles family is a different avenue for making money, and a push towards looking at other ways to market what they already have.
You just start thinking about what you can create with them now, which we hadn't in the past, but now we can see that they're so versatile if they're kept in a little bit of water, and they're pretty. Once they're all bunched together, they're so pretty. You can dry them out, or you can have other ideas from. They freeze really well, but in something, so an oil or butter. So I love making butter. I love experimenting with different flavours.
I don't think anyone's come to this patch.
Back on Bruce and Tina's strawberry farm, they've also been trialling different flavours.
Strawberry and passion fruit, I can always guarantee that we have. Currently we've got dragon fruit and lime, and it's incredibly popular, but we've only frozen enough to make economically viable in an ice cream. In the summer, we'll freeze mango again. Now, we thought we froze enough mango last summer to get us through for 12 months, and we ran out in June.
Running out, rather than throwing out, is a pleasant problem for Bruce and Tina to have to grapple with.
Waste is probably around 20% in strawberries, but I think we've probably reduced that down to probably 2 or 3% now, which makes an enormous difference.
It tastes spectacular because in every ice cream there's, in strawberry for example, there's about 5 strawberries. And for most commercial operators that's not viable, but when you consider the waste that our industry creates, we had that waste, we were just either feeding it to cows or just dumping it. And now we have very little waste.
With all good things though come some challenges, and rapid growth in a new area of business is no exception.
There's the things you obviously know you're going to need: more staff to serve the ice creams and more places for people to sit. But signage, car parks, facilities, hand washing facilities. So it's a ever-evolving thing.
Bruce admits sometimes he has to make himself scarce in order to get work done on the other parts of the farm that need his attention.
I find if I'm trying to work around the yard here where they're eating their ice cream, I never get anything done because they all want to talk to you about what's growing out the back, what are those trees, and how do you get your strawberries so big.
Distractions aside, the ice creams have helped ensure Bruce and Tina can focus on growing and selling to the highest standard possible.
In strawberries we're very small. We're at the bottom end, we're the smallest grower in Bundaberg, for example, that ship interstate. And we target a gourmet market.
Thank you.
Most of my friends who are farmers around there, they come here for ice cream on a Sunday and they shake their head and said, I don't know why you bloody do it, but it must be good dough. And there's an element of that. It's a reasonable part of the operation, but I think more importantly what it does is it allows the strawberries operation, that side of it, to be viable in the size we're at.
Social media has also helped spark plenty of interest, both locally and from further afield.
People have become a lot more aware in the last couple of years about the provenance of their food, where it's from, and much more interested in the farms that it's coming from.
The extra attention, especially in what's been such a difficult year for so many, has been gratefully received.
Blown away, just mind blown. Never in a million years
No.
did we think that we would have anyone asking about our herb farm. It's a great feeling